Yeah,
Thank you for writing their names. I appreciate that.
you're
Good.
welcome.
Cheesh.
I'm glad you asked, and thanks for bringing that up. So, when it comes to native names, since it's a native language class and just in general, of course, always encourage people to use your native names, use each other's native names. But what you brought up is a really valid point about like, if I say it wrong, is that respectful or disrespectful? Or should I just stick with the English name? But anyway. Um, I think here you're good. No one's mad at you either way. And uh always
Yeah,
encourage.
I had a Think It friend say to everybody in her friends, whatever said she said, I would prefer for you to say my name wrong because at least you tried. And that would mean a lot to me.
I
Nice.
really, I really had a a rough time when I had Haida student in my class.
Uh,
So we were using her Haida name, and I was really having trouble getting that.
yeah.
So yeah, it does require a way of thinking.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Good point. So yeah, Shirley's name. Shirley, do you want to share your name so people could practice?
Johnny Keek,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shock, Shock,
Shah Saniki.
It's cutting out just a little bit when you say it. Shakhsai Keek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the K on the end is pinched.
Okay.
So you you click on that
Oh, I see.
uh, Shaksani Keek.
Shakhsai Keek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shah Saniki. And then Joel's name, Inner Strength, to is Tuwutatzin. He's not here, so we won't talk about him too much. When I meet with my dad and my aunties, we have a rule that's like if someone doesn't show up, then we talk about them. And my dad was like, my dad was like, well, that's what you get for not coming to school.
Well, thank you for that clarification because I want to show respect to my classmates, and I always feel bad when I call him Joel because I do remember him saying in previous classes that he wished to be called a certain name.
Yeah.
And the only thing I saw when his little Zoom came up was Joel. So I'll try to call him by the right name. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Good question.
Yeah, I used to require the class that even if the person is not present, you still need to practice to say it right. So in the early part of the class, I usually require that even if they're not present, we still mention their name.
Hmm,
So
nice. Are there any other questions or comments? Well, welcome back,
Um,
everybody. Oh, go ahead.
sorry,
Hmm.
I sent a message in the chat for how to pronounce my name.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll type it in. Let's see. Okay, let me pull it up. Okay, so I'm typing it instead of an XH, I'm typing it a little different. I'm using an underlined X, which is the same thing. It's pronounced the same way. And it's surely it's underline X OOTK pinched. So I would say goed.
Okay, pinched.
Yeah.
Goed.
And
You say all the letters.
goed.
Yeah. No, there's a K on the end.
Yeah.
Goed.
Goed.
There you go.
Okay. Goed. Cool name. Thank you for sharing.
Do you know what it means?
My great grandma told me that it was her grandmother's name. That there isn't a meaning, it was just her name.
Nice.
That happens a lot with some of the really old names. It might have become shortened or changed a little over time. But I remember that name. I think I've heard it before.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, her English name was Susie, I want to say Susie Paul from Sitka.
Cool. So yeah, that's your namesake. Beautiful name. Any other questions or comments?
Maybe just thinking about introducing myself with my Tlingit name and getting people, wanting people to say it right, like sometimes involves saying it a few times, and then it's like, at what point do I give up?
Mm.
My therapist, for example, has a really hard time saying K watch,
Mm.
and she always, and then I just get tired of, yeah, trying to repeat it and not wanting to correct.
Mm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
thinking about like, where do we start going into Tlingit language pronunciation, um, or just like how to navigate that skillfully. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably do. I see a lot of head nods in the screens.
You know,
Shucks.
K-Watch, I was gonna tell you, my friend actually made a video because her name is really challenging,
Oh.
and it was very helpful. And she posted it on her social media, and she was nice about it. She said, "Oh, I'm trying to transition to be called by my Tlingit name, and I thought I'd make this video." And it was very informative and very slow. And she explained how to, for non-Tlingit speakers. But maybe that would be something you did if you had social media, so your friends could at least learn it. That way they could just replay it and replay it. And then she did comment saying, "I do wish to be called this from this point forward. If you could make an effort, that would be great." And then she left it at that.
Mm.
Love that. I had heard somebody say about specifically about names like that. My first name is Dunedin, and on paper it's very hard to read correctly the first time. And I used to go by something else for ease, and I later changed it back because I read a quote that said, if they can learn to say Tchaikovsky and Michelangelo, they can learn to say your name.
Mm.
Yes, right on.
Good point. Really good point. Shucks, Sunny Keek, did you have any other advice you wanted to add?
No, but I think we're going to work on the last line for the introduction.
Mm.
And this line tells people where you live now. Like for me, I'm from Huna, but I live in Anchorage, and that's last of the information about the self-introduction.
Nice. Yeah, good discussion, you guys. We'll continue to have this discussion. And as Shaksani Keek was mentioning, we'll work on the self-introduction today. It's related to what we're talking about. And before we practice it, there were a couple reminders that we agreed need to be said in class. So for our first reminder, if you're satisfied with the information you're giving, it's your self-introduction. Shaksani Keek and I don't have any say in what you say or how you introduce yourself. Whatever you want to include or exclude, it's up to you. You can just let us know. Oh, I don't think I want to say anything about my mother or father or which any part of the self-introduction. Um, that that's up to you. And then if as far as the house names go, if you don't have a house name or if you don't know it, you don't need to include it. This is just an optional line of the self-introduction for those who know it.
And you don't have to apologize for not knowing.
Yeah, oh wow. A little bit more on that. Not every clan had a house. If there are not enough members and they're taken in by relatives, for example, then they already have a place to be. But if they keep getting people from that clan, they may get together and decide if they want to build a house or not. It is up to them. So the way I typed that, I was typing while Shaksani Keek was talking to me, so maybe I typed it kind of weird, but she had an example. Did you want to talk about the example you shared?
Yeah. Um, the Clinkets really moved around a lot because of marriage or whatever. And sometimes they get a lot of members and relatives tend to move where they are welcome, but pretty soon you have a large group from that clan. And sometimes they just get together and say, there's enough of us, we can go ahead and build a tribe, a house for us. And so then they work on that and build it and give it a name. So they there was a tendency to stay with a few clans, like in Huna there was the snail house, sea tern, the shark, the glacier, and then even though there was a large family of Shungakadis, we there was no building for that, or no tribal house for that. They were married into the different clans and were brought there because of that. So that tended to happen. So the strange, unusual part of the whole thing is the women are the ones that take care of the inheritance for her family, the names, the songs, whatever inheritance they have, uh, goes through her. But when she marries, she doesn't stay in her house. Her husband takes her to his tribal house, and that's where they live.
Hmm.
So if that's confusing, it never has been to me, but that's that's what usually happens, so.
That's cool. I never heard it described that way. I've only thought about clan houses as, being a branch of a clan, but I didn't really think about when you get married, you leave your clan house to go to your husband's.
Thinking about making new clan houses
Mhm.
and new clans, and I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore.
The clan houses,
Clan houses or new clans, if that part of
yeah,
it's just part of the past now.
as soon as the Clinkets found out that you could have a family size house, they really went for it. They
Hmm.
took their families and say, hey, we can live by ourselves and have all our things, in the house we're living in. So they just vacated the tribal houses to the point where the clan had to hire a house chief as a caregiver to the house, to the tribal house. But the tribal houses, I don't think I'm not familiar with Angoon or Cake, any of those places if they have the tribal houses anymore in that sense. And Haynes, or Cluckwan, do they still have tribal houses where people live?
Not that I know of.
Corey, are you on here?
Yeah, sorry. Uh, I didn't realize it when I was a kid. There's a house, Raven House down on the beach. I had friends who lived there. They didn't take a very good care of it, so I don't know if it's in use today. As far as I know, it's not, but it was just like a regular home. A family lived there. And I didn't know that it was a clan house, so I don't know if it's in disrepair or anything today, but um that much I know.
Cool. Goodness, geez.
Yeah. So if you know your clan house, like our clan house in Haynes is, I think, no longer there. And all the clan houses in Huna are gone. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, after the fire, said no more tribal houses. So the A&B Hall took over the role that the tribal house used to have.
Oh.
So it is a kind of accepted practice. But I don't know, each town is different, and they're blessed, I guess, if they have a good A&B Hall. That's what I said. So
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I've seen how A and B halls kind of become like the local tribal hall in Southeast. The other example we had was that in Huna, there was no house for the Shanguketi, but they would just stay with another clan when they went there. Yeah, that's all I had on that. And then we wanted to remind you that at the end of your self-introduction, please translate it to English, so that everyone in the audience will understand you. Sound good? Okay. So looking at our self-introduction, we got as far as saying our ancestral homeland and let's do a review. And then we were going to do breakout rooms, but there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. So maybe we can do them in here. Yeah, Shirley.
Yeah.
Okay. So first one, go ahead and unmute your mics and repeat after me using your name. Leit kas einach Anna Yuchat Duasak.
Tleikachena na yuhduasak.
Ah. Lingit einach Nila Torah Yuchat Duasak.
Linga ikena kua yuhduasak.
Jaman nach Hetzati.
Aguantan nakakasati.
Okay. And that's your mother's side. And then your house, if you know it. I don't have a house. I'm not of Tlingit heritage, but I'll use an example house just for practice, and you can fill in your house if you know it. Disquitach.
Kukit dak.
And then next line, Qonana Yediya Yechet. And this, eh. So that's your child of the clan, that's your father's people. And then ancestral homeland. So if you're from a clan, you'll have ties to an ancestral homeland, and you designate it with the word Kwan, and you say, we are homeland name Kwan. And so mine would be Kashtah. That's a native name for where my father's people are from. You can say your ancestral homeland. Actually, this is your mother's side, so I would say Gutski Kwan, where my mother's ancestral homeland is. So repeat after me. Gutski Kwan Owa Uhan.
Shitka kwan oa ohan.
Shakhsani Keek, any feedback before we do the new line?
No.
Okay. Okay. So our new line that we want to share is about where you live now. And to say you're at a place in Tlingit, you add a pinch X at the end of the town name. And so Shakhsani Keek and I live in Anchorage. And so let's practice Anchorage. Anchorage in Tlingit pronunciation is on Chich. So we're going to use that and go ahead and repeat after me. On Chich Yati. Yeah. So what's another town name where one of you guys is from? I mean, living.
Jantakahin, Juno.
Uh-huh. So Zantikihini, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, we.
Ganatish. So everyone go ahead and repeat after me. If we're all in Juneau, living in Juneau, we would say this. Zantikihini Yati.
Or you add the X pinched on the Kihinik.
Ganatish. Okay, thanks for the reminder. I need to remember to add this pinched X at the end. So let's do it again. Zantikihini Yati.
Zantakahin, Ye.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes Zoom will cut it out. Let me make sure my setting is right. Oh yeah, I need to turn on my setting. So I know if we can't hear some of you, it's because Zoom will clip. If your mic clips, Zoom's like, nope, you don't get to pronounce that sound on the airwaves. But just do your best and we'll do it again. Zantikihinik Yechatiati.
Zantakahin,
Santikhinik, yeah, tati, yeah. Yati, sorry.
Good.
Would you mind spelling that? So I'm tucking.
Yeah, let me do it. That's a good point. Let's do. So make a option here. And I'm gonna pull up the correct spelling in front of you guys so that we know we're using the right spelling for it. In the beginning Tlingit workbook, under this names on Tlingit land, Tlingit Anikasag, you have all the correct spellings and meanings. One for like northern area Juneau is Ak for Little Lake. And then there's one. Oh, it's not in here.
Um,
Huh?
I was gonna say I don't know if that is in there. If Juno's in there.
Yeah, that one's not in there. Let me find it. Zente Kahini.
You don't necessarily have to have a Tlingit name for the town you live in. You
Mm.
could say Seattle, Yeti,
Yeah.
British Columbia, Yeti. Just add the X pinch.
Bonaftish. Yeah, you can use the English name and add it. And so basically, Zentikihini is that. You guys know that hill in Juneau that's like right by downtown along the channel? In the wood. It's it looks like a flounder. If you're looking at it from a boat in the channel, the hill looks like a flounder. I've heard two theories about the name. One is that if you're on a boat and you're looking at it, there's this hill that looks like a flounder, so Juneau, downtown Juneau would be at the base of that hill. And then someone said something else about like there's flounder not in the creek, but at at the area in the water by there. I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, it's flounder. Oh, I could at least look up flounder. Oh, it's high tone zenti. Yeah. Any more place names you guys wanted to do? I know. Go ahead if you have a question.
And is that pinched X that we add on the end? Is that a contraction of the Nach?
No, good question. The pinched X is a location marker, and it tells us that whatever place name you add it to, that you're at that place.
That sound is totally inside your mouth, not in your throat. So you make a cracking sound.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you guys? Sometimes people are like, "Oh, there's an X with a mark. I'm gonna make the X sound," and they'll do like the underline X, which is but this one is not. It's like Shaksani Keek said, it's totally in your mouth. You're creating friction between the top of your tongue and the roof of your mouth. Any questions? Okay. So, full self introduction. Let's do it all together. Clan house. I accidentally repeated a couple lines, but that's okay. So first one would be repeat all these after me using your information. So first one, Tleitchach einach Anna Yuchat Duasak.
Leitchak Enach Stephen Jackson, you had to yourself.
Lingit einach Nila Torah Yuchat Duasak.
Lingit Enach Sakun, you had to yourself.
And then on your mother's side, Jam and Nach Chatziti. Yeah. And then, like we said, it's your self introduction. If you identify as being eagle moiety on your mother's side, you could say Chak Nachitziti there. And then your clan house, let's use moon house. Dis hit dach.
This hit
This hit duck.
Yeah. I repeated that one on accident. Next one, father's side. Qonana yadi ayechet.
Kiksadi yadi ayachat.
Ancestral homeland, Gutski Kwan, Owa Uhan,
And Kwan Awe Uhan.
and on Chichye Khatyati.
Yel Ye Hat Yati.
Yati.
Yeah, let's do that one more time. I'll make sure I do my pinch X at the end. On Chichye Khatyati.
Yel Ye Hat Yati.
And then the next thing would be you translate it to English. So go through your whole thing. Hi, my name's Anna in Athabaskan. My name is Nila Torah. You know, I'm German American on my mother's side. I'm child of the Athabaskan people. We're European immigrants on my mother's side. I live in Anchorage. You would just do that out of courtesy because you're thinking of your whole audience. You're gonna have a wide range from people who are just starting out learning Tlingit and don't know as much as you to fluent elders in the crowd who are still trying to adapt to like what I don't quite catch what they said. It's not quite sounding natural enough yet where they're not understanding and then they can kind of hear, oh, that's what they were saying. So you have a wide range. You want to make sure that out of courtesy, you translate for everybody. Anything else you wanted to add, Chaksani Keek?
No, I think that covers what we wanted to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodness. Tish.
So
I had a question. I'm sorry. I am delayed, so if I cut you off, I'm really
Oh,
sorry.
no, you're totally fine.
Not delayed in my mind, in the
On the computer.
just clarification there. Okay. So my question was that Shaksani Keek, is it customary that somebody would ask who are you? Because the reason I ask is because 2 separate times at a Kuwait and another time in a tribal setting, I came across somebody who did not know who I was. And where I'm brought up, I'm used to saying, oh, hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name? But instead they said to me, who are you? So immediately I was just thinking, do I say I'm Kagwantan? Do I say my name? What are they asking me? Is that customary that they would say, who are you? And what would be the appropriate response for me? Do I cover everything or just?
Yeah, when they ask that question, they're not curious about your English name. They want to know when they say, who are you? They want to know about your Tlingit name and your family.
Okay.
And you don't have to go through, this is my house and this.
Yeah, I
um,
was
From,
immediately stage fright. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to give too much information, or is that just a way they're asking me my name? So if I was to ask you, who are you? How
yeah,
would you answer that?
yeah, you say, your, cricket name and your, who your mother is, what clan your mother is, what clan your father is. Then if they ask, what town are you from, then,
Okay,
say, are you from Angoon or, oh, I know your family, they're from Cake or something like that, then, you can get going on the conversation. But a lot of times, it's kind of a question that is usually asked by the old people as you come up to them and start talking to them, and they get
okay,
curious about who is this person asking me all this, and then they ask, "Who are you?" That's what they mean.
okay, okay. Gonna chish.
Yeah.
Hmm, really good question. We had a discussion in another class I was in today about introducing yourself to people at gatherings. And so I have a couple of perspectives. One is as Athabascan person, when I go to Caltech, since I didn't grow that up there, meeting grandmas and aunties that I hadn't met yet, when they ask me, "Who are you?" they're wanting to know who my parents are. So, because they're usually looking around, being like, whose kid is that? Whose grandkid is that? Do I know their parents or their grandparents? They're trying to have a connection with you. And
Okay.
so I'm always like standard, oh, I'm Eric Klock's daughter. Regina Semikin was my grandma. And they're like, oh, and then when it comes to Tlingit gatherings, I'm not ancestrally from Tlingit land. I don't have Tlingit heritage. So when I introduce myself to people, like if I go up to an elder and I want to talk to them and practice my language speaking, then usually I had a few phrases that I knew to let them know, like, hey, you don't know my parents. I'm not from here. We're at the basket on my father's side. But I live on Tlingit land, and that's why I want to learn Tlingit language. And then it would kind of make them more comfortable, like, oh, that's who that is. That's why I don't know any of her parents or any of her family, but I get why she's here, stuff like that.
Okay, I
Uh,
like that.
uh, don't be surprised if they say, "Oh, hey, you're my grandma," in spite of your age, or "You're my aunt." So that's what they're trying to find out. See, um,
Okay,
how does this person might be related to me,
okay,
because of your name or your information. They get curious to see if you're related to them.
There's a tribal member I know down here in Seattle, and she always says I'm her grandfather.
Yeah, do you guys want to share more about that for people that aren't familiar with it? Go ahead. Let's see if the class has anything to say. I know Shirley can explain more too. So, like what I'm talking about is like if I show up and I'm Tlingit of a certain clan and I have a Tlingit name and and I'm talking to someone who's older than me and then I tell them my Tlingit name and clan and they go, "Oh, you're my grandma." Why is that?
Because of your name, uh, and I think they like to know that kind of information, and if it's just on a one-to-one basis of talking, then you do that kind of just a quickie, your mother, your father, your clan, uh, your name. I mean, and But if it's in a large group and you say the next person to speak will be, so and so, and that's when you give your formal information speech.
Okay.
I remember in our other language class, we used to have the guest speaker, David Katsik Kingishte come, and my language instructor, he would call him grandfather, except for he was much younger than him. And so
Yeah.
we were always like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's respectful to say, to honor the name, the family.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Do you mean that name that you carry is a older ancestral carried down name, and that's why you refer to the person as grandfather?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that could be your grandfather's name, so
Okay,
yeah.
I see. Oh, that's nice then, because then you're basically saying,
Yeah.
I know your grandfather, I respect him. Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice acknowledgement of your connection. I always thought that was so beautiful. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shakhsani Keek, in addition to us, there are 7 students, and we have about 10 minutes left of class. Should we do 2 breakout rooms or 1 group?
Let's do 2.
Okay. So I'm gonna split everybody up, and first I'll give you a link to the notes so you can practice. But go ahead and grab this link from the chat.
And take turns talking, introduce.
Yeah. Okay, there's the link to the notes in the chat. Go ahead and scroll to slide number 13. And once everyone has it open, I'm going to split you up into 2 breakout rooms, and I'll give you the rest of class to go into them and take turns practicing them with each other. Sound good? Okay. Breakout rooms. Here it is.
And you can help each other, so don't be bashful about that.
Shirley, do you want to be in a breakout room?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then Alan will just need to move you back once it's over.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we go till 1, and we can just close it then too. So we'll see how it goes. Hey Shirley, we're back in the main room and we're at time. Did you want to close us out?
Yeah, I think everybody did well on the.
Like yesterday.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody did well in the room that I was in, but almost everybody forgot to do the last line. From.
Okay, cool. We'll keep working on it then.
Yeah.
Our group did good too. One person did it all from memory, and everyone else did good reading along.
I didn't hear any problems with different sounds. There was we had to clarify, but it sounded okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. All right, good work, you guys. Then we'll see